everybody! Welcome back to the program. I'm Bottles.
This is G.
And we're gonna go save some more survivors.
Oh, yeah. Here, you wanna give it a whirly?
Yes. A whirly-durly.
Oh, man.
Give me that blast from the past. Alright, thank you. Hey. Get away from me.
I think yoga pants are my least favorite thing to wear in this game.
Why do you say that?
Out of all the other trousers that you could possibly wear.
So, where do these things pop up? Like over here?
Just open up your map, which is that cul-de-sac that's below you.
Right here?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
I want that police car.
Get the fuck in there.
If Grand Theft Auto has taught me anything, is that police cars are always the best cars in the game. Move, please. Get out of my way.
I love how simplistic the first Dead Rising was.
Yeah.
It was just like,
awesome.
best weapons in the game, mini chainsaw, shotgun, easy. Best vehicle in the game, the fucking delivery van.
Yeah.
Easy. Damn.
Look how fast this vehicle is.
Oh yeah, you're really fucking hauling ass. A van! Wow, that was comical. I don't know if there's a survivor in there. Just
It would say encounter.
What did it say?
Event.
Oh, event, I see. I think I have a cattle prod? Wow, what an idiot. That vehicle's like your stand. You just got hit by a psychic projection of it. Wheel of fortune. Wheel.
Hurry. Hurry.
Oh yeah.
What's in here? Exosuit. I'm standing on it. Hey. No. Let's go.
This game makes me want to listen to the only Christmas song that I like, which is Paul McCartney singing Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
I remember hearing that so many times during Christmas last year.
I love that song.
For some reason, I have like this memory of it playing that song a lot in wall bounds, but I didn't work there during Christmas.
No. Are you sure?
Yes, I worked there during Easter,
Oh. Christmas time is Easter.
and I was only there for a month.
I feel like you worked there for so much longer than just a month.
Right? Like, it feels like it was so much longer because I was suffering. But yeah, I was only there for a month. Feels like I was there for, like, at least, like, 4 months.
Yeah, like ever.
But, no, not really. I was playing Heritage of the Future with Myra today.
What's
And
that?
it's the JoJo fighting game that for the Dreamcast.
Oh, okay.
It's really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Much better than All-Star Battle. And it only has characters from Part 3 though, because that was like what was out at the time.
Yeah.
And come on, do it! One last hurrah! And that's amazing.
Yeah, it's just so fucking hideous.
Alright, so we were pissing each other off because we're both like evenly matched in that game, which is what makes it so fun. My main is Jotaro, and her main is Midler. Who? She's the one that has the High Priestess. Or whatever her name is. The one that has the thing that can turn into any object.
Okay.
And, God, Midler's an asshole. Yeah, because she has a lot of ranged attacks, which is something that a lot of the characters in JoJo just can't compete with.
Mm-hmm.
I like sending people to space.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, like one of the best characters in All-Star Battle is really just Mista and Narancia. They're just too good because they're just all range. Even Kakyoin is really mean because his Emerald Splash is homing.
Same thing with well, not same exact thing with Heritage of the Future. Kakyoin is really good because he has his range that he can use Hierophant Green is literally the whole screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he could just send Hierophant Green across the screen to attack you.
That's why Hierophant's such a good sand. He has a range of like 50 meters, I think.
But like the only bad thing with it, with Hierophant Green in that game, like the drawback, is that if the person gets behind Hierophant, you have to wait for Hierophant to get back to Kakyoin to control Kakyoin again.
Yeah.
Which can really be bad.
Yeah.
Can really take advantage of that. Really? Nothing? Asshole. Come on. Use it. What the fuck? Come on. Use the fucking... They also have a couple secret characters in that game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they have, Shadow Dio.
Yeah, that one I knew about.
Black Polnareff, which is Polnareff when he's controlled by Anubis.
Okay.
They have Kakyoin when he has the shades.
Okay.
Which I don't really think it does anything different. Cool. Yeah, it just looks cool. And then the best secret character, young Joseph Joestar.
Nice.
And if you play like the story mode, if you play the story mode of the game, they actually have an explanation of why young Joseph is there.
It's because of Melisses.
Yeah. I kind of wish they did that in the show.
I know, it would have been so cool, dude.
Whoops. You killed my friend!
You killed my friend!
Star Platinum punched it, so it's pretty messed up.
Ora!
Yep, sounds about right.
Let's go down to the cul-de-sac.
I feel like Jotaro's holding back a shit ton in Part 4. Because, like, if he can, like, obliterate a truck with one punch or break the High Priestess' teeth, then, like, one punch to anyone's face should, like, just
destroy them,
obliterate them. They should just put a hole in their head. I think that we were talking about this a while ago, like the whole thing of just like, you know, when an object is moving at a certain velocity, it doesn't really matter like the size or shape of it, it's still gonna do damage.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you know, if a coin is traveling at like a certain velocity, you know, a high enough velocity, it's just gonna cut through a person.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really matter what the object is. Like, it could be like a pebble. Like, if you shoot a pebble at someone and it's going fast enough, it's gonna rip through their body. You know? Like, the same thing can be said for Star Platinum's fists. Like, there's one, like, you know, blurb in Part 6 where it's like, Star Platinum, the ultimate stand, can punch as fast as the speed of light. And it's like, if this motherfucker's fists can move at the speed of light, as soon as that fist hits something, it's gonna get obliterated.
Yep.
There's not going to be anything left. It's going to completely annihilate it. He's going to literally shred you into pieces if he punches you. And then you see Star Platinum punch someone, and he basically just fills them with, like... He doesn't really put holes in him. He puts, like, indents.
Did you see that?
No, what happened?
There was a car here, and then when I drove up to it, it disappeared.
That's awesome.
It was really weird.
That sounds great.
I'm gonna go down here.
So, yeah, that's why I'm a little butthurt.
But,
like, I don't know if you... Oh, what the fuck happened to the floor there? That was, like, disco.
One thing I'm disappointed about, which was brought up in an X-Force video, he's a guy that does a bunch of JoJo videos.
Just drive straight down the road from here and just see what you find.
Yep.
This car might die, though. It's on 8% health.
Yeah, and I'm driving pretty slow.
I think the engine died. And so is the car. Yeah, you might as well just get out. Oh, that's why it's on fire.
Oh, yeah. But, You know, he did a video called the Lost Joestar or the Forgotten Joestar.
Make a left right now and just go down that alleyway.
And he was saying shit like,
Oh,
what?
Obscurus.
Yep. And he was saying like, he was speculating on what.
Watch your health.
Yeah.
It's at like half right now.
He was saying shit like, imagine a story about Shizuka.
Okay.
Like, old parents, they'd probably die, like, young in her life, so she'd probably grow up an orphan. And then just imagine seeing the development of Octung Baby.
Yeah.
Because, as of right now, it's still the only stand to have an A in development potential.
Mm-hmm. Well, that and Gold Experience, but
Yeah.
I think Gold Experience is done developing at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I would go hard. She's getting raped by a bunch of zombies.
She's fine. She has full health.
Not for long. Throw bombs, throw explosives.
Alright, throw again. This button. Gotcha. Beep. It's a good thing I can't hurt her.
Yeah, thank God. You're gonna have to kill a lot of them, dude.
I know.
There's so many around.
I'll protect you.
Alright, just start killing the ones that are really close to her. Now, I guess.
No more Mr. Nice Frank!
You kill my friend. Damn it.
Better work on your aim, boy. Oh, yeah.
You kill my friend. Stop coming closer. Just go home. Don't you want to go home? Okay, cool.
Took a really long time. I would take a picture of the ground.
I feel really good. Money. Give me money. Oh! Take no prisoners. Boy.
Oh, man.
Did you see that zombie eat shit?
Nah.
It was great. He just kind of like, he was up on a ledge and he just kind of tumbled over.
I want to look up a list of, like, weird military experiments.
Sounds like fun. We're gonna get fucked by the NSA. Or whatever.
Weird military exercises. The 10 most bizarre military experiments from Cracked.com. From Mike is on Cracked.com. We suspect that every military has a secret room full of stone dudes who stare at the ceiling and just dream up shit to build. The difference is they have billions of dollars to make their dreams a reality.
They're not wrong. So why don't you tell me a few?
Okay. Number 10, the Bat Bomb. Working on the premise, any weapon is cooler if it flies in the night on leathery wings. Bat bombs were proposed by a dental surgeon in the 40s. Naturally, the president thought it was awesome, so a plan was rolled out to make the night unsafe for anyone that didn't want to have small explosives get stuck in their hair. The plan. Because bats can carry a good amount of weight and tend to sneak into buildings and such, the plan was to make an army of flying rodent suicide bombers and release them over Japan. The little fellas had small napalm explosive kits made for them, which were probably the cutest incendiary devices ever. And the cases were constructed that would be dropped from V-29s.
Oh, shit. Heal.
Put down on the D-pad. Bananas.
Brutal Legend.
At dawn, they'd flee to buildings until the timers on their little bombs went off. So far, so fucking crazy.
So they tried to make suicide bombers out of bats?
Yeah.
Okay.
What went wrong? Things got sketchy when some armed bats were accidentally released and set up shop under a fuel tank on an Air Force base. So yeah, that burned to the ground. But hey, it proved the damn thing worked. So the people involved look at that as a silver lining. Given that the bomb casings they made for the bats could hold over 1,000 bats, they assumed just one bomber could hold up to 20,000 little flaming night terrors, and some initial test data concluded these bat bombs were actually superior to regular fire bombs. But after a couple $1,000,000 in funding, the plan was scrapped. The plan was moved forward too slowly, the bats were unpredictable, and the guys at the Manhattan Project were talking about having some kind of miracle bomb that could do the work of, like, 1,000,000 bats. How the fuck do you train bats?
I think you... I don't know.
How would you train bats?
I've always operated under the assumption that you could fucking train anything.
I don't know. I'm not an animal trainer. Maybe it's not that hard to train bats to fly into a stronghold and then release a napalm payload and blow up the Hangshaw Gardens. Alright, number 9, the Great Panjandrum. Getting through any enemy fortification is always tough, with what their insistencies on constructing defenses out of stone and other sometimes conventional weapons just can't break through. And such was the case with the concrete defenses that were part of the Third Reich's Atlantic Wall that ran up and down the west coast of the European continent. So the Brits came up with the Panjandrum, Insanity's answer to what could we do to make explosives more dangerous. The plan. So, how do you get a tank-sized hole in a concrete wall? Well, they created 2 giant wooden wheels joined by a central drum stuffed with explosives. On each wheel, they strapped rockets as a means to propel it forwards at speeds of about 60 miles an hour. Life imitates art, and sometimes military life imitates Wile E. Coyote cartoons. What went wrong? You could probably guess the rockets that moved the thing had a habit of flying off during tests, sending the entire structure off course, which were thinking created a number of safety issues. After adding more rockets and another wheel, it was tested again, and this time it turned right back to the sea. Finally, after many tweaks, it was ready to be tested in front of Navy officials, scientists, and journalists. How could this go wrong? The ridiculous thing started rolling off as planned, but then, like a drunken hussy with vertigo on a dance floor, it started careening...
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
It started careening all over the place before making a beeline for the assembled Navy brass. Disregarding rockets and wobbling around before thankfully collapsing and exploding. Alright, well I can see how that was an absolutely horrible fucking idea.
Yeah.
Let's just strap rockets onto a wheel and see what happens. Oh, plus there are explosives in the center of it. Number 8, Project Orcon. A real pain in the ass during World War II was the enemy constantly trying to not get bombed. Ways of jamming guidance systems for homing missiles meant a lot of targets went unblown up. So, effort was put into finding a way to guide a missile that could not be jammed. The plan. Every Psych 101 student's favorite sleep aid, B.F. Skinner, proposed the idea of using pigeons. Put a pigeon in a bomb, and have the target displayed on screen for it. The pigeon would constantly correct the course by pecking the image of the target in the center of the screen. Jam that, Nazi assholes. What went wrong? Even though a chunk of change had been dropped on the project, the military abandoned it. Some say it was just too weird for them, while the time involved in trading the pigeons had also been cited. One of the problems was the range of the weapons, as they relied on an optical system. Since the pigeons had to see what they were pecking at, if the bomb went too far off course, the pigeons would have to correct for themselves in the bomb. Another problem was that it was a bomb guided by a fucking bird. No shit. Number 7, the Sun Gun. Destroying your enemies from space is the goal of every angry 4th grader and Scientologist. Unbeknownst to many, it was also the goal of the Nazis, who figured a space station / death ray combo would have been against gangbusters. The plan. Appropriating the work of less genocidal minds, Nazi physicists began work on an idea that would put a giant mirror in orbit. The mirror, which they planned to design from about 1 million tons of metallic sodium, would burn cities to the ground, boil reservoirs, crisp people like bacon, and probably make all kinds of kids with magnifying glasses huddled over anthills feel grossly inadequate. The mirror would be on a space station manned by Nazi spacemen with magnetic boots to help overcome weightlessness, with oxygen provided by onboard pumpkin patches, and electricity provided by solar-powered steel dynamos. The cafeteria would presumably have food deep-fried in love, and the rec room would be structured out of the dreams of children.
What is this?
This is a gigantic space station that the Nazis wanted to create. And not only would it be a space station, it would also be a gigantic solar array that could redirect the sun's light and use it as a laser to annihilate different cities, strongholds, armies.
Whatever they want.
But apparently it didn't come to fruition. Yeah. What went wrong? We did. We being all the non-Nazi assholes. The more coincidental name being the Allied forces. When it became clear that we were going to win the war, the US began taking German scientists out of the country, and this plan, along with many others, were abandoned. Also, the epic grand scale and mind-bogglingly retarded nature of the entire idea was apparently a roadblock that needed to be overcome too. Since we couldn't even build the damn thing now in 2008 if we wanted to. Part of this was made in 2008 apparently.
Huh. Interesting.
Project Habakkuk. When Winston Churchill got a hankering to smite his enemies, he aimed for the sky. Actually, he aimed for the ocean, but he wanted to build...
Christ.
Wow, poor fucking Camilla. Metal. Alright, let's see. I'll just start summarizing these a little bit. Wanted to make an unsinkable aircraft carrier the size of an iceberg. It would be so immense that it would make the enemies shit themselves uncontrollably.
Really?
So they wanted to make a gigantic aircraft carrier that was about the size of a fucking iceberg in order to scare their enemies. The plan was to make a 2,000-foot-long deck. The entire thing was gonna weigh 2 million tons.
Oh, she's gonna die.
Eventually, they proved that it wasn't feasible because it was just too goddamn heavy. But... oh, wait, hold on a sec. I'm sorry. They weren't going to create an aircraft carrier the size of an iceberg. They were going to create an aircraft carrier out of an iceberg.
Oh.
So practically it was retarded, because it was a giant ship made out of ice. The Stargate Project.
Nice.
Apparently the commies were spending a lot of money on paranormal research during the Cold War. So if they were doing it, the CIA wanted a slice too. Before the Reds wiped out some dude who could kill the president with his mind, they started the Stargate Project in the 70s with a crack team of gifted psychics provided by the Church of Scientology.
Okay.
What went wrong? They realized right away there probably wasn't anything, the whole psychic/remote viewing thing. Oh, I'm sorry. They realized that there wasn't anything to the whole psychic/remote viewing thing. And by right away, we meant 25 years later. The project lasted until 1995.
Jeez.
Research into the project's validity concluded that while the remote viewers could get some details right, they were also doing a stellar job of getting a shitload wrong. In fact, many say the results were exactly the same as having a group of random hobos make wild guesses, and that you could just as accurately uncover enemy hideouts by having a camel spit at a wall map. Hey, did we mention that they spent $20 million to find that out? Don't feel bad. The Soviets spent $50 million to find out the same thing. That is a lot of time wasted. Number 4, the gay bomb.
I've heard of that.
In terms of great military plans, from the first ape man who threw a rock at some other asshole ape, and likely stretching into our Jetson-like future with lasers and nanobots that will melt the faces of those who displease us, nothing is likely to ever top the gay bomb. The gay bomb is exactly what it sounds like, a weapon that would render our enemies asunder with gay. Actually, weaponized gay. The plan. Wright Laboratory in Ohio proposed a number of non-lethal weapons to the Pentagon, a method of crowd control. As methods of crowd control are highly in demand these days, and tear gas is about as cool as hip daisies and bearded curtains. Instead, why not bathe your targets in an aphrodisiac chemical so strong that it caused all the enemy combatants to line up for mustache rides? So maybe it's not a room full of stoners coming up with these ideas, maybe it's a house full of frat guys. What went wrong? In concept, it's probably true that an enemy is less effective when engaged in a massive, frenzied man orgy. However, science has not actually perfected a way to make this happen to just any group of males. Apparently, the how was not the job of the idea department here, as the same lab proposed other weapons that would make bugs and rodents attack enemies, give them bad breath, or mark them with a stink so they couldn't hide in general population. Again, that's all fine and good, if and when ways of doing those things actually existed. So they essentially theorized a plan of, hey, let's spray some pheromones around and make people gay, but they had no idea how to actually do that. Just an idea on the chalkboard. Alright, number 3, the pain ray. This I actually have heard about, and it's actually very interesting. The active denial system, often referred to as the pain ray, is a futuristic sounding way of making sure someone is about to have a really terrible day. Or improperly cooked microwave burritos. Essentially, this is a method of crowd control. As you could guess, the active denial system has something to do with horrible pain, and at a distance. Essentially, I could just explain this one myself. This is essentially a gigantic satellite dish that's mounted on top of a truck. And basically what it does is it is essentially a microwave ray. it heats up the subcutaneous area of your skin, and it causes it to get incredibly, incredibly hot. It doesn't actually do damage to you. It's just incredibly fucking painful because it makes it feel like you are on fire.
Huh.
So it's essentially a great way to control crowds of people. Because if you shoot one of these beams into a crowd of people, it's gonna make everyone feel like they're literally on fire. So they usually try to get out of there as fast as possible. It's pretty goddamn painful. I saw a video of a few soldiers stand in front of this thing. They didn't really last more than a few seconds before they started running away because of the pain.
Jeez. So what went wrong?
Nothing went wrong.
Oh, it's just, it worked?
Some people find it to be unethical, but all weapons are unethical, so, you know, it's not being a bitch.
I was just asking, like, because, you know, the article's always like, oh, what went wrong?
Well, I'll see what he wrote down, but at least as of now, you know, I know that it's, you know, it's probably one of the best crowd control weapons that they've come up with. Let's see what went wrong. What went wrong? Nothing yet. That's what it says.
Nice.
What went wrong? Nothing yet. Hold on.
Oh, shit, nice. We're there.
Yeah, now we just have to go visit the shelter.
Yeah.
They built the thing, and it works. The ADS was first developed over a decade ago, and after many trials and tests, the U.S. military seems to have a hankering to get them into Iraq very quickly. A lack of research into long-term effects or prolonged exposure to the weapon have some people wondering if it's a great idea, since probably no one has volunteered to have their eyes microwaved yet. Yeah, but I mean, to be completely honest, it probably could give someone cancer. Because it's literally a microwave beam that's heating up the subcutaneous layer of your skin to a heat that isn't really that pleasurable. So I could imagine that prolonged exposure to microwave radiation would definitely give someone cancer.
Yeah.
But, hey, that's okay.
Don't write it.
Eating microwave burritos gives people cancer, so you know what? It's alright.
You know, according to WebMD, everything gives you cancer, so...
Especially talcum powder.
Gimme. I said gimme.
Buy everything.
Yeah, sure. All yours.
Gimme. Gimme.
Yeah, man. Good choice.
Gimme. Gimme. And gimme. That should be everything.
What about the training manuals?
Increases food inventory slots
Ooh, by 2? Holy shit!
Mine.
That's gonna be awesome.
And that's it.
Holy shit!
Nice. Look
Dude,
at that.
turn around for a second. That room is a food storage room. Don't talk to him, just go in.
That was my plan.
Give me soup. Give me water. That soup! Oh man, that's gonna help immensely. Even though we never run out of healing items to begin with, but...
Get... Knuckles.
Jump. Roll. Do something.
Get...
Jump in the air. Jump. Do some jumping.
Eh. Stupid ass bitch.
Let me see the remote for a sec. What? How we're doing on time?
It's time to go.
Oh.
I'm Bottles.
This is she.
Oh.
We're gonna be busy.